Well, hello there, and welcome once again. And thank you for being here and for stopping by. It is your presence that fills me up so that I can show up and share with you. Today's topic is about the wisdom of our bodies, and this word that is so used all over and is the word embodiment. What does embodiment mean really, and why is it important? And what can you do about it? Our bodies, the wisdom in our bodies, the connection with our bodies, the wisdom that our bodies hold, and in what ways our bodies really are always on our corner. When our bodies are performing their duties beautifully and in harmony, we sometimes take it for granted. It is normal that we wake up and nothing hurts and that we can walk and run and stand and do all of the things that physiologically we are able to do. Thank you to this beautiful temple body where our soul inhabits. But what happens when something is not quite working right? When we have a little bit of a pain in a joint, or we have a little bit of a headache, or we have a little bit of a bloated stomach, or in whatever ways our bodies want to communicate with us, what is the most typical thing that happens to you? I'm asking you. Tune into that for a moment. I know for me and for 90% of the people I work with, it has always been resistance. We just don't want it to hurt. We don't want it to be unable to perform as it should. We resist. We don't want to see it. We don't want to deal with it. We most likely, most commonly take some allopathic medicine to stop the symptom, to address the symptom. And this is how the Western world deals with a body that is hurting or has some pain or has some dis-ease, lack of ease, which is really a disharmony. It's addressed by trying to shut down the voice of the body, which is the symptom. But here's the other take that is really much more inspiring, and it carries so much more wisdom and more information for you. Our bodies are the way in which we live in this world. Thanks to this body that is made of the same elements as the earth, where there is minerals like iron running through the blood in our cells, for example. And thanks to this bodysuit, we are able to experience life and experience things such as tasting wonderful food and the warmth of hugging somebody we love and the listening to beautiful music and the smelling of perfumes and all of these things that open up for us through our five senses that are of the body, right? This is called our biology. This is our biological suit. And this beautiful body is here to protect us, to keep us alive, and to ensure that our soul has a temple where it can live to experience life on earth. So when this bodysuit tunes into a disharmony, it shows up as a dis-ease. And when we go for addressing the symptom of that disease, the way in which the body is trying to talk to us is the way in which the disease shows up. When we try to address just the symptom, we're actually not allowing the body to communicate with us, and we are not tuning into what is the body trying to tell me. I'm sure many of you have heard of the book from Louise Hay about all the different parts of the body and what happens when you get some way of dis-ease in any part of the body. Every single part of our body is associated to some subconscious disharmony. And energy healing, as you probably heard me say before, is none other than bringing harmony to a body that is in disharmony. Because as I was saying, when our body shows up with some kind of pain, my hips hurt, or my stomach is bloating, or my knee hurts, or my head hurts, all of these are symptoms of something deeper going on. And the body is simply telling us, hey, pay attention to dot, 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 because this is what's happening. And that's why your knee hurts. For example, for the knee, oftentimes when you begin having pain in your knee, you realize that it's because you are having to deal with bending to somebody else's will, to really having to do something that you don't want to do, or you have done it for such a long time that you are exhausted about it, and the knees say, enough, enough, I can't keep bending to somebody else's will. Sometimes we are working in our ascension path and we are participating in powerful activations so that we can tune in more easily with our own divine team, and we are asking to be able to feel and know our divine teams and to really communicate with them clearly and to understand what the messages are. Oftentimes when we participate of these visualizations or meditations, we may find during and or after that we have a little bit of a headache. And the headache in that case is happening because our bodies are clearing the pineal gland and activating the pituitary gland and activating that whole area known as the third brain. And we feel the stretch is as if we were in the gym working out with heavy lifting, and suddenly our muscles are having too much lactic acid and they hurt. And that's what hurts when we have a headache and we're stimulating our ability to be a channel. So it is so important for us to become aware of this conversation that our bodies are wanting to have with us. And when something hurts, when something is not quite feeling good in our bodies, when we have a bloated stomach, or when a muscle hurts, or anything that has us really experiencing our body in any way that is not just beautiful, harmonious well being, get curious. Ask the body, what is it that you're trying to tell me? Why is it that XYZ is hurting? What is the message you are wanting me to become aware of? And go to the origin of what is creating the dis-ease, as opposed to dealing with the symptom and through resistance, wanting it to go away, attacking the symptom. Our bodies carry so much wisdom. They have an innate intelligence that keeps all of our needs working. The hormones are being segregated at the exact right time so that we can wake up or we can go to sleep, that we can digest, that we can defend ourselves when we have the fight or flight adrenaline flood our system. It is such a beautiful orchestrated harmony. The body is for us, with us, in our corner, is part of our team, wants our best. And beyond that innate intelligence, our body also stores all of the memories that have to do with the moment in which we're conceived, all the way until the moment in which we decide to let go of this suit and go back into our essence and as spirit. This is what people call cellular memories. There is so much information in our biology. And that is why also when we do a lot of healing, when we do a lot of therapy and we work with our minds and we think we have resolved the issue and we gotten to the bottom of an issue, we still sometimes keep feeling stuck in a same situation. And that's because that's the memory in our cells that are still there and that we have to release. We have to help Our cells get rid of those painful memories to go all the way and heal completely. And then there's this other thing that is our fat cells store toxicity. So they act in a wonderful way when we have toxic waste come into our bodies and when we have toxicity in the way of emotions come into our bodies. The fat cells surround the toxic waste, phagocyte it, that's the term, and protects us from having that waste going around the body by holding it surrounded by the fat in the fat cell. And the same thing happens energetically with toxic emotions, with emotions that are painful, that are experiences that we've really struggled through. And this is so interesting because we don't speak in this society about overweight as a disharmony or as a way to defend ourselves. But most often, that is part of what overweight is about. When people that are overweight, and I have this in my history, eat, it's a defensive mechanism, it's a protection mechanism, it's a correction mechanism, it's a numbing mechanism. It works in many ways. But here's the thing, that when we finally find the ability to heal and the ability to release that excess weight, these fat cells that were storing information get emptied. The fat goes in circulation into our bodies to be released in the way of the air we breathe and our peeing. And with them, the toxins that we are being held by the fat cells go into circulation in our bodies. And again, lo and behold, we are here in a wonderful process of gaining back our health and releasing weight. And suddenly we feel so bad and so uncomfortable, and tears are coming up, and we don't understand what's happening. And what's happening is that all those emotions that had been covered by the cells, covered and protected so that they wouldn't hurt you, are now up for you to look at. But now you have the possibility to deal with them because you're in a healing process. But there's so much beauty and so much complexity about how the body is for us an element that is in our team. Our bodies are our biology, and our bodies want our souls to live a full life and to protect us so that we can have the most wonderful experience. So now that we're clear about what is the relationship between our souls and our bodies and how our bodies really want what's best for us from a spiritual and emotional perspective, now there's the understanding of this little word, embodiment. And why is it so spoken about since probably about a decade? People didn't used to speak about, are you embodied, or I should be more embodied, or I don't feel embodied, or people didn't used to say those things. People didn't even used to say something simpler like, I feel grounded, or I need to ground. There was no awareness of the fact that sometimes our souls didn't feel safe inside our body. Sometimes our souls don't feel safe inside our bodies through experiences had through childhood and sometimes even through adulthood, but for the most part through childhood. Where does she or he begin and end? And there's no confusion about where is my boundary and where is their boundary. But when we are children and we are having a parent that is having problems, that is struggling, or a caregiver, a teacher, an uncle, an aunt, siblings, people that we love, and they are going through some of their own problems and pain and struggles, they may hurt us. And as children, we have no tools to protect ourselves, and we don't understand this thing about where do I begin and where do I end? And if this is my mom and she loves me and she's hurting me, what does that tell me about myself? I may not be worthy of love. And so many other stories that begin to go on in our minds. And the result, from a very esoteric standpoint, is that our souls that were fully inside our bodies, just like a Russian doll, we have the soul and then the physical body that's surrounding it, doesn't feel safe being in this vehicle that is the body. And so the soul wants to leave the vehicle. And so it actually literally gets out of the body, but the soul is tied to the body. While we are alive, there's a golden silver cord that ties the soul to our bodies. And so the soul may want to leave, but it cannot truly leave. So what ends up happening is that it's floating above us like a balloon. We're walking with our bodies and we have our souls over here floating. That is the contrary of embodiment. So here's the definition: in the body, embodiment. To be embodied means to have healed enough that our soul feels safe to be fully inside of our bodies. And I can tell you that for 98% of humanity, most likely, our souls are not fully inside of our bodies. Most of humanity is walking in a disembodied way because there's so much pain and so much unawareness of what is that dynamic. And it's not until we can do the journey of understanding that the body is here to love us and that we can have a conversation with our body and that we can interact with our body and that we can work with our body and that we can listen to what the body is needing and take action to support that. And we can begin doing things a little bit differently. And instead of going and trying to use a hammer to stop the reaction, to stop the expression of the pain, to stop the symptom, to instead be loving and going deep. And what is it that you're telling me? And what is it that's going on? And why is this happening now? Why are you showing me that there's something not going on with the specific issue of overweight, pain in my knee, pain in my shoulder, a headache, a bloating stomach, or a teeth? There's so much information in every single tooth of our mouth. A whole life expression is in every single teeth. So there's so much there. And when we can begin being an ally to our bodies, then we can begin to take new and different steps and truly understand that what I feed my body has an enormous, enormous impact in the way in which I feel inside of my body. And I begin to take new and different steps to honor what this body is telling me that it needs. And little by little, I make my body, my temple, safer for my soul to fully come back in. As I do that, I begin to really understand that I have more joy and that I connect with a new lease in life and that the colors are more vibrant and that there's giddiness in being fully inside my body and that there is a well-being that goes beyond anything that we've experienced before. Then comes this other word, which is grounding, earthing. They're a little bit different, but they're similar, centering. And that is connected in a certain way with being fully embodied. And to ground ourselves helps our soul to come fully back in and to be fully embodied. Not being grounded is also not having our bodies fully connected to our beloved Mother Earth. And when we're not connected with our beloved Mother Earth, again, we're not fully grounded, we're not fully earthed, we're not fully centered, soul and body, so that our soul can feel safe. There are very simple techniques of grounding. I teach grounding through a 2 hour module in the School of Wisdom, but very, very, very fast and very simple. Go barefoot onto the sand, a lake, the earth, the grass. Just walk barefoot for 10 minutes every day, and that already will make you feel so different. A minute of standing barefoot will make you feel different. It's not the same to stand barefoot inside of a home because most likely the homes have carpets, they have so many layers between the house and the actual earth, and layers that probably have things such as layers of plastic or rubber layers to make the floor float on top of the cement. And so there isn't a connect and direct electrical exchange between you and the earth, because this rubber and or this plastic layer avoids that interchange. So you want to make sure that you can stand with your bare feet in a way that you can truly connect with the earth. Watch out about the shoes you're using. If you're constantly using shoes with a rubber sole, which is probably 100% of the shoes existing on earth at this time, there's very few shoes that still use leather. Very high-end shoes still do. And when you are walking with leather shoes on a sidewalk, you probably are earthing, because the leather allows for the exchange of energy from our bodies to the earth and the earth to our bodies. For most likely that is not happening. Grounding is a big part of feeling safe in our bodies and making room for our bodies to receive fully our souls. And another way to ground is to actually close your eyes and visualize your own roots. We all have energetic roots, sometimes known as etheric roots. There's roots coming out of the womb for the women, coming out of the perineum for the men. That's like a main tap root. There's roots that begin to energetically be felt at the level of our ankles, and then from underneath the soles of our feet, the roots go down. They connect with the core of the earth. We have what's known as the star of the earth that connects with the center of the earth. There's many ways that we are so connected to this planet that nourishes and loves us and gives us what we need to live and be safe in our bodies. Our bodies are so connected with the earth. We are part of the earth. We're not separate from the earth. What we're saying here is that our bodies are part of our team, that our bodies know when they tell us that something needs to change, and their way of telling us is through pain, and that our bodies are the home for our souls. So our souls can experience life on earth and feel all the beauty that is living on earth through all the sensorial feelings. And that we can support this process by understanding it. And when we understand it, we're less scared of what's going on. When we feel weird things and we have emotions going all around our bodies, maybe we're going through a big change in our bodies, such as releasing weight that was protecting old trauma, to understand what's happening, to allow it, knowing that you're safe, and that is the process of becoming safe, and to use grounding and centering techniques and earthing techniques to allow that soul to feel safe in our bodies. These are all processes that are natural for our souls, for our lives, as we are in our ascension path, as we expand and call in our soul purpose, as we are being called to live a fuller, more fulfilled life where we can share of our gifts so that we can feel the uplifted expression of living our soul purpose, and at the same time to support others to do the same, right there where you are, being who you are, not having to become somewhere else, actually remembering the essence of your authentic self. It's the reverse. It's not about becoming somebody else, it's about releasing the conditionings so that we can remember who we truly are. Many times this requires that you do some of this work of releasing these traumas with somebody that can hold your hand, can hold space for you, can guide you. Oftentimes we have things in our blind spots, just like a car. We cannot see because we're so close to it that we cannot see it, but somebody else can, and they can help us see it with love and release the pain so that we can live a better life. There's many ways in which I can help you do this as well. You can check my website, www The Awakened Path. The link is here and the link is in the description to this video. And there's also free tools that you can download from my website, meditations, handouts. Just go there, get the goodies, begin the work. And I wish you so much love and light. And I'd love to hear from you about was this helpful, and to hear from you about what else would you like me to talk about. Lots of love and light in these amazing times.